Hi guys, this is Aura from Aura Plays Games, and I am back with another sweater slash hoodie tutorial. Today is I guess you could call it a FORESTCORE woodland themed hoodie. I think you can be used for a sweater as well. It is based on this design that I found on Pinterest. You can see right here. It's not exactly the same, but it is inspired by this design. So a lot of elements are very similar. So let's get started, guys. Alright, so you want to go ahead and choose the hoodie for this custom design. As it is the case for a lot of my other designs, the first thing I try to do is find a color palette that I kind of like. I might not all of the colors, but I like the overall feeling. And so I chose this color palette and then chose this cream color and chose the fill all tool and filled all of the 4 sides of this hoodie. And then I started working on one of the sleeves, and I found that it's so much easier to work on the sleeves than to tackle the front and back sides of the hoodie first, because if you want to experiment, if you want to try new things, it's so much easier to try it on a smaller surface and then tackle the larger surfaces of the hoodie, or for that matter any custom design that you work on. So the first thing we're going to be doing here is just covering the top part of the sleeve in this darker shade of green. Of course, you can choose whatever color you want. This is the same green that will be used for the leaves of the trees. Just keep that in mind. I am using the fill tool to make the process a little bit faster. After that, I am just changing the vividness and the brightness of this blue a little bit, and this blue color is going to be used for the wave or kind of zigzag pattern of the top half of the sweater. It continues on the front side of the sweater as well. And the basic pattern for this is you just have 2 pixels on the bottom and the top, and you just keep doing it for one row and then the second row. And I had to experiment and try to figure out which row to put this on, and I found this seems to work the best. But obviously you can experiment as well. And I just kept on experimenting with the vividness and brightness as I went, just to see how all the colors play with each other. And then before tackling the hard part, which is drawing in the trees, I'm just doing the bottom. So it's basically the cuff part of the sleeves in this kind of light blue slash grayish blue color, and just using the line tool here, because with the line tool you just press A to start and then you drag it and then A to end it, which is kind of easy, and then the fill tool to fill in the gaps. And then after that, I'm just coloring in 2 pixels with this lighter shade of brown, which is kind of the ground color that the trees will be planted in. And then I'm taking this darker shade of brown, and as you can see, I am just to the left of that line that is going straight through the sleeve right now. And I have placed the darker brown right up top to that line that's meeting the middle of the sleeve. And then I am drawing in the leaves here. Basically, it's like a pointy top and then pointy bottom. It's a very simple tree. And then for the roots, I just have a lighter shade of brown just on the bottom there, so it kind of looks like there's roots. And then for the 2 other trees that I'm drawing in here, as you can see, I have 1 pixel that is dividing the middle tree from the tree that is right beside it. And you just have to think about the widest part of the tree, which is in that like 3rd layer, 3rd row, starting from the 3rd row, and then just make sure the widest part does not touch the other tree that's beside it. And then once you have all the leaves colored in, the same idea for the trunk of the tree. Whoops, don't do that. And the roots of the tree. Obviously, all of this is entirely optional, but I'm just showing you my process. So that's basically it for the trees. And then if you remember the design that we're referencing, there's these dots. And so I'm just placing these dots I'm just spotting them as I go, and just placing 2 on top and then 2 on the bottom like this. Later I realized that the top dots, they touch the green dot, that green pixel of that tree, and it looked kind of weird after I wore it. Right now it seems fine, so I kind of changed the placement of those dark blue dots. You'll see what I mean later in this video when I show you what it looks like and I run around my village and island with this hoodie, and I change up the design just a little bit, just the blue dot part for the sleeves. Now we are working on the back side of the hoodie, so just go ahead and fill the top part of the hoodie with the same color that you use for the top part of the sleeves. And the reason why we're working on the back side first is because the front side has buttons, and so it's just easier to do the back side, which is basically the same as the front minus buttons. So basically there's like 2 pixels before hitting the horizontal line going across the backside, and then you cover most of the other parts on top of that area, that general area. And then to connect the zigzag pattern from the sleeve, we are starting this pattern just below that horizontal black line. And again, it's like 2 pixels on the bottom row and then 2 pixels on the top row, and then you just copy what I found as I was doing these designs is like, I don't think we're perfectly symmetrical in these pro design templates, because sometimes there's like one pixel on the left or right. There seems to be one more on either side, but I could be completely wrong or going crazy. Anyway, so we've got the zigzag pattern, and now just filling in the bottom with the same color as the bottom part, the cuffs of the sleeves. In my case, it's this light blue color. And then right on top, you need to do the ground. So I'm using the second biggest size of the pen tool to do the ground. Like so. And now for the trees. So just to give it some variation from the sleeves, I put the trees for the front and back 1 pixel lower. But obviously you can do it the same as the sleeves. I just did this. So the way I did it is I counted 3 pixels from the diagonal pattern on top, and then I had the topmost part of the tree. 1, 2, 3. And starting right there. And then I made this diagonal kind of triangle pattern and then filled in the gaps. Because my trees on the back side and front sides, they are 1 pixel lower than the sleeves. You can see that the bottom part of the tree is touching the ground. If you don't want that, you can always do it 1 pixel higher. For me, I thought it looked okay. I kind of like that it looked a little bit different in the front and back. And then I'm just leaving 2 pixels between the left tree and then the right tree that's been created here. For the other trees, there's only a 1 pixel gap from the widest parts of the trees. So in total, you can fit in basically 4 whole trees and then 2 half trees for the front and back. For the front though, because we have buttons, those 2 trees in the middle, they're gonna be kind of cut off as well. And this is just the last half tree. And filling in the trunk. Once you have the basic shapes of the trees, it's pretty straightforward from here. You just have to add the trunks and then anything to make it look like there are roots in the trees. And just using different shades of brown to kind of highlight that process. I experimented a little bit with coloring more parts of the pixels in that kind of root color that I'm using right now. But I think having 3 dots around the trees seem to work the best, because working with pixels, I found, is kind of a delicate process. 1 pixel makes a big difference in the appearance of everything, so I think you can play around as you go. And this is just the last part, just adding some dots here. So I've got 1 dot on top of the highest point of each tree, and then in between each of the trees I have another dot. And again, this is like really based on personal preference in terms of where you want to place anything. And when you are in the middle, it's not even, so you just have to decide, do you put it on the left side of that vertical line or the right side? And that's pretty much it for the back side of this hoodie. And then you just want to click on copy and then copy it to the front, as we did for the sleeves, for the left and right sides of the sleeves. That copy tool is such a lifesaver, because if we didn't have it, we'd have to basically recreate every single side, which would take quite a long time. So now the only thing left is the buttons of the front side of this sweater. I think apart from the design, one of the hardest things is deciding on the color scheme. So the color palette really helps in this process, because the color palettes give you kind of a baseline to start from, because if you had to think of every single color to begin with, it'd be quite a lot of work as well. So as you can see, I have created kind of a more vivid shade of that cream color. Now it's starting to look a little beigey, if you will. And then I'm just filling in 2 pixels on the left and right side of the middle vertical line to indicate where the buttons will go. For the green part, as it is the case in our reference design, I didn't want to continue a beige color. I wanted a darker green color, and so that's what I did. I created a darker shade of that green and just drew a straight line to indicate where the buttons would be going for the top part of this hoodie. And then the last part is to add in the buttons. So I used this kind of mustard color and just filled in 4 pixels for the buttons, and then I left room of 4 pixels before creating the next buttons. and I was able to fit in 7 buttons on the front side of this hoodie. Right now the color difference between that cream color, which is the base color of this sweater, and the button line isn't that pronounced. But you know, that's also just personal preference. What I just did there is I just went to the bottom of each button and then recolored it with the lighter shade of either the beige or the green, depending on where the buttons are, just to give it a little bit more dimension, if you will. And now I'm just working on the finishing details. This is the pockets of the hoodie. So I'm just using the same color that I used for the bottom part of the sweater. And as you can see, it's about 4 pixels long horizontally. And I did the same for the other side. And so in a way you end up covering most of that tree on the far left and right of the front, but that's okay. Next, I made a darker shade of that light blue, just to add like horizontal and vertical stripes to give the sweater a bit more dimension, to make it look like it's kind of more like a sweater hoodie, a knitted hoodie, if you will. So it's just like horizontal lines for the pockets, and as you'll see just in a bit, I used this same color for vertical lines on the bottom, and I do this for the front of the sweater, the back side, and all of the sleeves as well. And yeah, I'm just playing with the different elements of the color just to make it blend in a little bit better. Whoops, don't discard your design. Sometimes I almost do that. Be careful. Oh, what I'm doing here is I'm just changing the pattern a little bit so that both sides start with the zigzag pattern with like a corner kind of pointing upwards. This is again personal preference, but I think I was just looking at the original design and thinking, oh, I kind of want it like that too, pointy towards the top there, so that's what I did before going back to adding the darker shade of that light blue. So as you can see, I did that for one line and then left one line in that lighter blue and just repeated that pattern on the bottom, and just left 2 lines empty so that I don't hit the pocket section. And then I went to the back of this hoodie and basically did the same thing. There isn't really a reason why I started there. In the beginning I thought, oh, maybe I'll have the darker shade of that blue coming down from the trunk of each tree, but then because the sweater yeah, it's not exactly symmetrical, so it doesn't really work in that way. And the last part is just to work on the sleeves. And that is basically it for this sweater. I just copied and pasted for that other sleeve. And I call this hoodie, I think, Trees hoodie. Something really straightforward. And I'm super happy with how it turned out. It really feels cozy, and it goes with the kind of like woodland theme that I had going, especially like this part of my house. Right now I have 2 rooms in my house, and this one's empty because I emptied everything wanting to redecorate. That's gonna be one of the next videos that I will upload for you guys, me redecorating my house. But yes, this first room becomes more like a living room, and it has like a woodland theme, so this sweater is perfect for this space. As it is the case with like any pro design, I think the idea is you just wear it, and then like you can kind of fix it as you go, which is awesome. I wish you could do that with all of your other clothes in real life too, where you wear it and you're like, I kind of want to change this. You can't really do that in real life, but you can do that in Animal Crossing, which is completely awesome. And I'm wearing on the bottom kung fu pants, I think that's what it's called. And then just like room slippers. I forgot the exact name, but yeah, that's what I have on. Just something comfy for the house. But now, gotta change because I'm gonna run around and see my villagers just to say hi and also to see what I look like in this outfit. I think the best thing to do is just like create something and then just wear it, and then if you want to change it, you can change it whenever. If you want to make it into a sweater, you can do that. If you want to make it into some other thing, you can also do that. But looking good so far. Gonna go say hi to Peck, who lives here. Hello, Peck. Oh, Peck is making something. Aura, need something? Nope. I think Peck. Yeah, I think Peck taught me how to make a burger. I don't remember, but I think he taught me. Share this around. Okay. Bye, Peck. Alright, and notice all the glowing moss that I have. I collected from the Happy Home Paradise Island and brought it back home. Oh, everyone's here. Hey guys. Hey Hazel. How goes Uniwow? I am enjoying the evening, Hazel. And Winnie, how are you? The museum has been remodeled. Oh yeah, okay, the other day I did give in. I bought one of the paintings from Red. It was my first purchase from him. It was real. And gave it to Blathers, and we now have an art exhibit, I guess. And oh yeah, I need to do like a ceremony, opening ceremony for that. Haven't done that yet. Are you guys gonna join me? Winnie, are you gonna join me for that? And Hazel too. Where did you get that lollipop, Winnie? Actually, where did you get that? I see some of you guys having lollipops, but Nook's Cranny doesn't seem to hold them. Do you like my sweater? I'm loving these other expressions that we have. I love the joy one though. Oh, is everyone leaving me? Oh, Winnie's still here. Very excited to see who we will see next. Bye, Winnie. We're moving on. We're moving on. We really need a bridge here, but for now, this floating pool will have to do. Alright, we're gonna go visit Philbert first. Philbert is adorable, and look at him. I think he's like... he has fallen asleep holding his cup of tea or coffee or whatever that is. Oh my gosh. Hello, Philbert. Are you sleeping? You are sleeping, actually. Your pet cricket is still there. I don't know how you got a wooden cage for the cricket, but it's matching very well with the other stuff in your room. Yes, you fell asleep, Filbert. What do I need? Nothing. Do I watch lots of TV? Actually, not really. I don't watch lots of TV. Cooking shows. Of course, Filbert loves to eat. So, of course, he likes watching cooking shows. I love his house. Actually, this sweater is perfect for this house. I'm gonna put this sweater up at the clothing shop. And we'll see. Maybe Filbert will wear the sweater. Or actually, this is a hoodie. But yeah, hoodie. As you can tell, I've been putting growing moss everywhere on this island. Last but not least, we got a visit. Hello, hello! Olive. I always wonder how old is Olive because she always calls me Sweet Pea and she talks about her childhood like it's really far away. So I'm like, Olive, are you a grandma? You sound like a grandma, but I'm not sure. And the sweater is looking glorious in Olive's house. Gotta get that close-up view. Oh, I think this is where I noticed like, oh, maybe I should fix up the dots a little bit on the sleeves of the tree. Because it does look a little bit close to the trees. As you can tell, I made this tree hoodie twice because the first time I didn't record it, but that's okay because actually the second time it turned out much nicer. Oh, and I also experimented with like taking out the roots. Honestly, these like little details are kind of hard to see when you're like wearing your design. It's really based on personal preference, but I just ended up taking out the roots, at least for the front and back section of this hoodie, just because I felt like the lines did look a little bit cleaner, but completely up to you. Do you guys buy a lot of clothing on Animal Crossing? I took out the roots on the sleeves too. Again, actually it looked fine, but just personal preference. I feel like after I discovered the Pro Design tool, I thought I would buy less clothing, but I still buy so many clothes. But I think for the next video I do for Pro Design, I think I'll try to recreate one of the designs that you can buy at the store, at the clothing store. I want to see if you can really recreate something so you don't have to buy it. For all of you out there who are like me, who don't have a lot of bills to spare. I will try to recreate something. I think some of the designs you can't really recreate it because there's just like limitations with the pixels that we have. But I think the simpler designs are possible. Here I'm just like experimenting, thinking what would happen if like this zigzag pattern had like 2 lines, and then I was like, nope, not my thing. It completely changes it. This is the thing with like working with pixels on specifically Animal Crossing. I found like you add 1 pixel and it completely can change the look and feel of a design. Like you wouldn't think that the zigzag pattern, it looks the way it does when you just look at the pixels. It looks a little bit jaggedy and awkward, but it actually ends up looking like the zigzags that we know. So I think it takes a lot of experimentation. Yeah, like drawing that creates this kind of upside down arrow look. And again, you wouldn't expect that if you just look at the pixels. I think with pixel design in general though, it's really helpful to like kind of step away from the screen and look at it from far away, because then it kind of helps you visualize what it would look like on the actual design. I also tried this instead of adding the roots, and actually this isn't bad. This look isn't bad. You guys might want to try that out. I'm really excited to hear about how you guys take this design and make it your own, because I feel like there's so many different ways to take this. It'd be so cool if we could all meet on Animal Crossing and just like design different stuff together. I think that'd be so much fun. Yeah, so that doesn't look bad. Is there anything else you guys are interested in making? If so, please let me know in the comments below. I think my first sweater, that Christmas tree sweater, is super simple, and this is definitely a step up. So if this one's a little bit hard for you, then you should definitely check out my Christmas tree sweater tutorial that's appearing in your screen right now. I'm super curious to know what you guys have created with Pro Design. I've also made like a gingham dress, and I think I can share that one too, because that one's also pretty easy. It's that purple one that you kind of saw. Alright, this is what my sweater ended up looking like. As you can see, I took out the roots and extended the trunk of the tree. Just because it's like we're working with a really small space, and when you're like running around in Animal Crossing, you don't really see all those details. Sometimes it's just better to have clean lines, so that's what I had. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and please let me know in the comments below if there's anything else you guys want to see me create. on Pro Design or just in general what kind of Animal Crossing content you guys would love to see. Oh, here I'm just fixing up the sleeves. I talked about this earlier. For some reason it wasn't like connecting with the tree before, but then suddenly it was connecting and making it look like the tree was like an alien or something. And so I'm just making sure that those dots don't connect with the tree, so that it doesn't look like it's got antennas on top of the tree because that wasn't what my intention. So just fixing that. It's kind of weird. It wasn't looking like that before, but maybe the program was updating a little bit later. Okay, so finally done. I haven't changed the design since. So this is basically what I've been wearing for many days. Alright guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. Don't forget to click the subscribe button, like this video, and I will see you guys real soon. Alright guys, take care. Bye.